Okay, we'll call to order the Unsafe Building Commission meeting for Tuesday, August the 19th, 2025. If you'll call the roll.
Diane Whitehead,
Here.
Rhonda Dooning,
Here.
Terry Hillard.
Here.
Okay, everybody's present. In your packet, you have the minutes from the July 15th meeting. Has everybody read those? Are there questions or concerns?
I make a motion that they be approved as written.
Second, motion to approve the minutes as received. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, proof of publication.
Thank you. We have a proof of publication here, and it describes the three of the meetings on this agenda. There is one appeal, but there is the regular publication that we have for 25 North 12th Street, 534 South 11th Street, and 1548 South 6th Street. This notice was published in advance. It states the time, date, place, items, and everything necessary to hold this public hearing. I would ask the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to accept the proof of publication.
Make a motion to accept the proof of publication.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the proof of publication. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Anyone here today in the audience or commissioner that's going to speak, if you'll stand now and get you sworn in.
Please stand, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nothing under old business, so we'll move on with 25 North 12th. Cedric?
Good morning.
Morning.
So we have a property at 25 North 12th, owned by J.M. Bach Investments. This is for a cost hearing. It's the title search, as you can see, for 25 North 12th Street. Here's some before and after, before pictures. The garage caught on fire, and they deemed it an unsafe, an emergency situation. You can see the rafters and then the damage that the building sustained. And then this is the after pictures when they tore it down. This is what it looks like with the straw and seed. Here's the contract with the amount highlighted, right here, and then the total was for $6,998.
What was that total?
$698, but that's with the administrative cost. The grand total will be $8,738. We are asking the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the cost of $8,738 for the emergency demolition of the garage located at 25 North 12th Street.
Is there anyone here to speak to 25 North 12th Street? Any questions?
No question.
Okay.
Okay, then administrative cost, let's see. I make a motion to affirm and acknowledge administrative lien cost applied to the property located at 25 North 12th Street in Richmond, Indiana, owned by J.M. Bank Investment Company as the current owner of this premises. In the amount of $8,738.
Second. It's been a motion and a second to approve the cost hearing for the property located at 25 North 12th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on, 534 South 11th Street.
This was a cleanup, emergency cleanup board and seal. The deeded owner is Hussein Nizamal. This is the title showing 534 South 11th Street. These are some before pictures at the front of the east. This is the north side where the electric was taken out by RP&L. So there was no electric. Here's some before pics, shows the trash and debris, the gasoline and containers, and then the generator that they was running for the electric. Some more trash and debris and some vehicles that had to be towed. That's in the west side, rear. These are the after pictures. This is the front and the rear, been boarded and sealed and cleaned up. This is the the rear and also on the north side of the property. Been boarded up. Contract with a highlighted amount. This is the recorded notice of unpaid costs. The total cost. We are asking the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the cost in total of $2,490 for the emergency cleanup board and seal of the property located at 534 South 11th Street.
Anyone in the audience here to speak to 534 South 11th Street? Okay. Any questions? Make a motion to affirm and acknowledge the administrative lien costs to be applied to the property located at 534 South 11th Street, owned by Mr. Hussein as the current owner of the premises.
Second.
Been a motion and a second to approve the cost hearing for 534 South 11th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, 1548 South 6th Street.
1548 South 6th Street was also an emergency cleanup board and seal owned by Donald Ballinger and Brian Ballinger out of Winchester. There's a title search stating it's in fact 1548 South 6th. Here's some before pictures. There's the front of the house, there's a window broken. There's some glass on the walkway. There's a lot more pictures than this, but I did that on my other presentations. So. A lot of glass on the property. The property was damaged, and there was unsecured doors and glass all over the property, trash and debris, unsecured buildings. These are the after pictures. The front of the building, which is on the east side, and the south side windows were sealed, which I think just about all the windows were knocked out. And then the garage in the rear where it was cleaned up and boarded and sealed also. This one actually had two contractors. The one contractor had to be replaced because his father passed away. They had readjusted their contract amount, so we took the two contracts and just added them together, and that's how we got the total here. So this one was $600. Next one was A1, but $930. You had your administrative fees, and that in total would equal $2,490 for the recorded notice of unpaid cost. We are asking the Unsafe Building Commission to make a motion to affirm the cost in total, which would be $3,270 for the emergency cleanup and board and seal of the property located at 1548 South 6th Street.
So one contractor started and then the next one finished.
The one
Okay.
started, he had a maximum, a price put in for his bid that was accepted, but he had to readjust it because it
Got it.
did so much.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
went from there.
And the merger of those two is okay. All right, is there anyone here to speak to the property of 1548 South 6th Street? If you'd like to step up, give us your name.
My name is Betty Johnson.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the house looks nothing like that anymore, and Don Ballinger is not dead. I purchased the property, me and my sister together, in August of 2024. I had to do a total cleanup and a total repair. I am still repairing the inside of the house. The outside is totally cleaned up and up to code. It has all the siding. It has all brand-new windows. The garage is no longer boarded. It has doors on it. The yards are cleaned up. The fence line is cleaned up. Everything is cleaned up. And I have been repairing on this house for over a year. Now, the fines that you have opposed were prior to me and my sister getting the house, and I have my proof of that. My sister and I got the house in August. My sister and I signed the actual paperwork in September. Now, my sister left the house, didn't want no more of it in March of '25. Okay, we got the house in August of '24. Now, I continue to still have the house. I'm continuing to still repair. And this fine that you have imposed, you're saying 2 fines, and you're saying that Don Ballinger died. Don Ballinger did not die.
No.
I did not say that.
Or, they're very much alive, all 3 of them.
He was saying that the contractor that was initially contracted passed, his father passed, not Mr. Ballinger, the contractor that the city,
Okay, well, the ones that trashed the house were the Malots,
yeah.
and they're all in jail now. But I have put over $26,000 into this house. And since this fine, 2 fines are prior to myself and my sister, I don't know if Barbara Ann's here. Yeah, Barbara Ann, come up here. Barbara and I, we got the house on August 2nd, okay? And we paid the first down payment, okay? Now, on September 3rd, we got our contracts, and it's signed and filed. It's filed with all the offices. And then Barbara left at the end of March of this year. And then I'm continuing to still fight for this house. I'm repairing it. One day it's going to be my home.
Okay.
My problem is on this paperwork you sent me, says that if Brian or Don does not pay this fine, that you are going to attach it to the November taxes. Okay, well, I'm responsible for the November taxes. Okay, that's not my fine.
Okay.
And I don't see how I should be able to pay a fine that was months prior to myself getting the property. Brian and Don should be held accountable for their fines. Yeah, and it's not like they can't afford to pay their fines, because they can.
Okay.
And if you attach it to the taxes, then I'm going to have to pay it.
All right. Thank you. Cedric, title search still
Yeah,
shows?
and BSNA is still showed as it's deeded to the Ballingers still.
Was the house bought on contract?
Yes, sir. Bought on land contract.
Was it registered with the title company?
It's registered with the city and with the clerk's office. The Ballingers actually own the property till it is paid in full. But I bought it as is, and I am responsible for everything that happens to that property from the date that I bought it.
With the Ballingers being the recorded owners, I think that the fine goes with the property, not a contract purchaser. So your issue's probably going to be with Ballingers.
But, I mean, it was prior to the contract.
The contract is between you and Mr. Ballinger. The title company, if you closed at a title company, the title company would have done a search, and they would have found these liens on the property. There's probably more liens than this on that property, so.
Oh, yes, I've paid the other liens. I didn't know about those 2 liens.
Yeah.
I've paid all the other liens.
Okay,
The water liens, the utility liens, the property liens. I did not know about these 2 until I got this paperwork.
yeah.
What kind of deed did you get? Did you get a quitclaim deed or did you get a warranty deed?
I got the warranty deed, and I don't have that file with me. But I am responsible for any liens to the property that are occurred. But I got this paperwork today, well, for this court hearing today, and I know if I didn't show, it was automatically going to be to me. And I'm probably going to have to pay his fines regardless, because you're going to attach them to the taxes. One way or another, code enforcement is going to get that money, recoup it from Don, Brian, or me. I just don't think that it's fair to me. And that's why I'm here today. Because those are prior. And this house looks nothing like your pictures, like the priors. Code enforcement should have sent you some new pictures, because they come by every week. And I mean, the outside looks nothing like the trash pictures. I put a lot of money into this house. My sister put a little bit of money into the house. I continue to put money in the house. I just wanted to try to fight this fine, but if there's no fighting it, come November, I'm paying it. I don't have a choice. If I don't pay it, then they'll end up taking the house from me. They'll end up putting it up for sheriff's auction for non-paid taxes. So any way it goes, if you don't hold him accountable for his own, then I'm going to have to pay it.
When is your contract due?
Okay, it's paid out over the years. It's $38,000 total at $500 a month payments. This house is not going to be paid off for years.
I
Okay,
think what she's asking is your term. How long is your term?
It's like 10 years.
in your term.
Yeah, the payments are spread out through years.
And what year are you on now?
Huh?
What year are you on now?
I'm still on the first year. Well, no, I'm going into the second year because we just had it, because we got the house on August 2nd of 2024. We actually signed the contracts on September 3rd of 2024. And so we're over a month and a year. I just don't feel like this fine is mine. I feel like he should be made to pay it. But, I mean, if it's not paid, you're going to put it on the taxes, then I'm going to have to pay it anyways.
Well, we're all in agreement with you probably on that point. We have, every month, we have several properties of Mr. Ballinger.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, he stuck me on this property, trust me.
Well, I applaud you for your efforts and taking care of this property and the care you're taking to your neighborhood, because that's important to the other homeowners as well as you and your property values. So I don't know if there's something we can do as a committee, or we'd have to, this is an unusual circumstance.
I don't know. Kim,
So-
our issue is with,
Yeah.
What, and I want you to finish your statement because I want to make sure that I'm understanding everybody's
Well-
thoughts on this.
the property is recorded as owner Ballinger's.
Okay.
That is the only, I understand that you're purchasing on contract, but you will not be a recorded owner until your contract is paid in full. So the only recourse that the code enforcement office had was to look at the property records and then send the fines to the recorded property owner. Unfortunately, you've purchased a property that has fines attached to it. We agree with you. You shouldn't have to pay them, but the procedure is the fine goes to the recorded property owner, and that happens to be Ballinger's.
And the code does say that we are legally required to serve notice on contract purchasers. So that is why they receive notice of these things. Now, the argument that they're not responsible for anything taken after their contract, that's in opposition to Indiana State Code 367926, which says that, if you're taking an interest, a legal property interest, it may not be a fee simple interest, but if you're taking a property interest in a property and it's maybe derelict or got some issues going on, then you are holding yourself out to be also jointly and severally liable for these. So while you may agree in somewhat principle that it's a difficult situation, I've even had a situation, and I don't remember the gentleman's name and I don't remember the actual property address, but a gentleman has been calling the law department because the lien was already filed a year and a half ago. And I've sent him 2 letters saying, you may very well have recourse against the Ballingers, because it was a prior owner was the Ballingers. You may very well have recourse, but I cannot help you with that. This is what this law says. You're going to want to talk to a private attorney. And in this situation, it's a little bit different because it is a contract purchaser, but we've got state code that says, hey, if you're going to attach this lien, you have to notify this property owner. Now, whether you guys want to work on, either the amount or whether you want to kick it back to the administration to have them work on some kind of a payment plan, that would be within your discretion. But that's not something I'm going to say is a good idea or a bad idea from a policy perspective. We have had maybe 2 situations, I don't know if staff can help me out on this, we've had maybe 1 or 2 situations where Derek, as the former department head, or the current department head, had entered into a private agreement where they agree to make payments on the underlying value. But again, that's not something that is a common occurrence.
I have one thing to ask. The property is now on contract, land contract to myself. My sister is no longer on the contract, but the paperwork that you sent to her has her name on it too. I ask that you not put my sister where she has to pay any part of this fine because she no longer has any part in the house, and I don't want her to have to pay any kind of fine.
Was that update to the contract recorded with the recorder's office?
Yes.
When?
5:30 of 25. I don't want, Barbara Ann has a fixed income, and I do not want her to feel that she owes a debt, because she cannot pay a debt.
If she's here right now, I can swear her in and she can come up and say she wants to disclaim,
Barbara Ann,
she wants to disclaim
She did
ownership.
stand when you,
So can I swear you in, please?
she did stand when you swore them all in.
Did you get sworn
Yes.
in? Okay, thank you.
come up here.
So you're disclaiming ownership interest in the property?
I am. She
is.
Okay, you have to make it to where she understands.
Ma'am, I don't live there.
So you do not claim ownership to 1548
I'm on
South
there, but I
6th?
do not live there.
You're not on there, Barb. You've been taken off there for months.
And is your name Barb?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
Barbara.
Okay.
You have to make her understand. Barb, do you want to be responsible for any part of this fine, or do you want to walk away from it?
I would like to walk away, I don't live there.
Okay. I think the board understands
yeah.
that.
She's MMR. I mean, she doesn't understand.
I live at 1411 South I Place.
Okay. We understand.
I live with Michael Johnson.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
So I can leave her name off of any paperwork, but again, I want to make sure you guys understand
Okay,
the legalities versus the policy decisions of any arrangements you want to make.
She lives off of $967 a month. She can barely get by. She cannot afford any kind of a fine. That's why if the fine is still imposed, that you impose it on me and not her.
pleasure of the board.
I'd be okay with a payment plan.
So, is that okay with you too?
Yes, I think the payment plan would be, if we can't reduce the fine in any way.
This board could do that if it would like to, or I could keep it in there. And what I would do is I would draft it for the code enforcement department under the authority of the mayor and set that up as a payment plan. However, you guys,
Is there a minimum? My question is, what would you be able to afford?
Well, it's not whether I want to afford it. I'm not going to have a choice. If you could make the fine, I mean, could you stretch that fine for a year into weekly payments? That would make it 52 payments?
I think we've done it for a year, maybe 2. I think we've done a 2-year. I don't. remember if we've done a
If you set up the payment plan however it's required, I will pay it. I just don't want my sister responsible for any of it.
I would not put her name on the.
Thank you so much. Okay, Sissy, you're okay.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're done.
thank you, thank you. Again, I think what the board, I'm just going to say it, and if you agree with this, then we'll just make this happen. Make a motion to affirm and acknowledge the administrative lien cost applied to the property at 1548 South 6th Street, owned by
Eddie Johnson?
recorded owner Donald Ballinger, Brian Ballinger, being purchased on contract by Betty Johnson. We will ask that the law department converse with the code enforcement department and set up a payment plan for you that will be both agreeable on both sides. And maybe you have some recourse with Mr. Ballinger, I'm not sure, but unfortunately, it's still in his name, so that
Yeah.
it has to stand.
I understand.
Okay. That was long, but is that everything that needs to be said?
That's perfect. It affirms the order and it also modifies it where appropriate, so.
Okay.
And that total fine is, hold on,
$3,270.
$270.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
And if you set up that payment plan, will any part of it be attached to the November taxes?
No.
No.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. There's been a motion and a second to approve the modified cost hearing for 1548 South 6th. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you for coming.
Thank you much.
Uh-huh.
And you'll mail me a copy, or code enforcement
Yes.
will send me something?
Yes, they will be in touch.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to 405 College Avenue. This will be a ticket appeal. Sherry?
Sherry Ritchie, Code Enforcement Department. I had originally gone to this property and written it up for a weed violation. The owner is Daniel Sims. I would like to provide some historical context regarding the property in question. We've had a few inspectors visit the property since May of 2021, and their observations, along with other records, indicate a consistent state. To illustrate this, I will be presenting some past photos that clearly demonstrate the property's appearance has remained largely unchanged over the past 5 years. Additionally, it's worth noting that there have been a few violation enforcement letters sent to this property over the same 5-year period. So these are pictures from back in 2021 where you can see that the grass was not in compliance, along with the shrubs, and also this area here. And here was the letter that was sent out by a previous inspector back on May 6th of 2021. And then here is another one from 6/8 of 2023, along again with the letter of the notice of the violation. And then most recently, here was one from May 19th of 2025, along with the letter. As you can see, when I went back, I didn't see anything that had really changed with the property, and the shrubs and bushes had not been trimmed either. Here is a picture of what it appears that Mr. Sims had kind of gotten rid of some things in the flower bed, but to me, it still had what appeared to look like, several weeds in that. So I went ahead and issued a cut order on the 17th, and then the contractor went and cut it. There's a before and after picture there. And here's a copy of the invoice for the weed violation and the invoice. And then here were some pictures of some properties that were in the neighborhood that I could tell were actual flower beds, where I could not tell that with Mr. Sims. As you can see at 321 College Avenue, there's mulch and things are bloomed in there. So I can tell that that's an actual flower bed. With the other one, to me, it just looked like overgrown vegetation. And here's another one at 333 College Avenue. While there might be some weeds in there, I could still tell that, there were some blooming flowers there. But I also sent that individual a letter as well, not just Mr. Sims. And then here's another house at 433 College Avenue, where their garden or flower beds are maintained. You can see here, while it may look a little overgrown, I could still tell that there, was flowering vegetation. So I was unable to differentiate between the pollinator-friendly flowering vegetation and the unkept growth on Mr. Sims's property. There were no distinguishing features such as lawn decorations, edging, mulch, stone, or decorative brick to indicate that the vegetation was anything other than uncultivated. The vegetation also exceeded over 3 feet in height. So that is why I had the cut order done in the first place, because I was unable to tell that this was a pollinator garden. And there were weeds, as you can see here and all along here, to let me think that this was nothing but overgrown vegetation. And that's why I went ahead and did the cut order and had it cut. Do you guys have any questions for me about this property?
Had you gotten any neighbor complaints or?
Not this time. I have in the past, but I was actually headed to another property on that street, and I'd actually written up 405, the 333, I want to say maybe a 605 or a 905, and then also there was a property across the street from, I think, 431, where Earlham had some trees, but they had overgrown vegetation there too. And I saw someone gave him a verbal, and he had it cut within a couple of days, and it's been cut ever since. And when I went back there yesterday, it was still maintained. So I don't go on a street and just try, to pick on or pick one person out. If I see that there's more than one, I will get them, all, so that I'm being fair.
So all the vegetation was in the front of the house and not the rear of the house?
Correct.
Okay. Are there walkways to each, looks like there's 2 doors, one on each, is it a double or?
I don't believe it's a double,
Is there,
is it, Mr. Sims?
are you here to speak to the property? If you come up, we'll maybe have some questions for you too.
I don't believe so.
There's 2 units, front and back. The entrance is down the driveway for the back unit. There is a door on the left side there, but it's mostly not used. The main entrance is on the other side.
This left is your drive?
No, that is the neighbor's drive. Our drive is on the right.
Okay. gotcha.
For the record, will you say your name?
Daniel Sims.
Oh, thank you.
So how, Mr. Sims, how do you access the house? Is it that side porch or where we can't see the other porch? So that.
The access that's mostly used is where she's referring to the bushes being overgrown.
Right there.
And yes, I did have a notice prior that mentioned that. This current one did not mention that, so I had not pruned this one at that time. When I asked her, Sherry, about why that was a problem, she said it was for access, that it not be blocking the entrance, but you can't see it, but behind there, there's a railing, and it is trimmed up to that railing, so the access is not impeded by that. The height, I guess, is the issue, but
And I'm not allowed to actually go up there on the property. But the fire department asked that if we see overgrown trees and shrubs, if we could ask people to trim that, because sometimes it makes it hard for them to get in there if they have to, have a stretcher or take somebody out. So that's why I asked for that to be trimmed.
I had some other things I could
Go right,
say.
go right
Go
ahead.
ahead, yeah.
Go right ahead.
So I wanted to enter a couple other photos here, if that's acceptable, as well as.
Sherry will take them and bring them to us.
These are some copies of what I was going to say today, and these are before and after photos to show the weeds that I did remove from those front beds. In the top picture is the before. I circled a bunch of things that I removed. In the bottom photo, what's remaining is brown-eyed Susan, which is a nice yellow flower that would be blooming later. Unfortunately, as Sherry noted, none of these plants were currently in bloom at the time. I was unaware that Sherry couldn't distinguish between these plants and weeds, because I had tried to be careful to take everything out of there that wasn't generally considered a flowering garden plant. But yes, it's a pollinator garden. It's not mulched. It's not prettied up in the way that a lot of people expect these days. But I made two assumptions that I should not have. One was that Sherry would be able to distinguish, and secondly, that there would be some sort of communication following the reinspection to let me know that what I had done was insufficient. I have now familiarized myself with the ordinance, and I see that it does say that only one letter will be sent out. And after that, it can be declared a continuing abatement issue. What I was unclear in the ordinance was when that, getting the proper term, the continuing abatement notice would be put out, and whether it was required by the ordinance that such a notice be put out, because I have never gotten anything posted on the property. I was expecting there to be some sort of notice posted after the reinspection to let me know that what I had done was not sufficient, but there was not. I guess my main point of appeal here is not so much whether the gardens meet standards, because Sherry had indicated that if I had talked to her that she probably would have been okay with it. The issue seems to be that I didn't contact her. But the violation notice indicates that I simply have the option of correcting the problem without contacting the office by the specified date. The ordinance also makes no mention of having to contact the office, only says that the property owner must correct the problem within 10 days.
And was it done within the 10-day time period, or no? Okay, I guess, when was this bottom picture
If
taken?
necessary, that's like a day or two after the previous photo. They were taken on the 25th and 26th of May, I believe.
Okay,
I could show you the timestamps on the photos
Okay.
if necessary, but
and you received your first letter in May, this,
Yeah,
so
like
it was right
May
after this. that you
23rd or
was-
24th, shortly before those photos were taken. That's when I was working on it.
Yeah, I still wouldn't have, I still would not have been able to recognize that regardless. I just wouldn't have. you know.
So it's a lack of communication is what?
Well, I mean, if he would have called me, then I definitely would have known that it was a pollinator garden. And I would have definitely worked with him. That's, not the issue. His thing is that he didn't think that there was an issue, so therefore he didn't think he needed to contact me,
And your contact information is on the letter?
Yes. The code enforcement number is on the letter, and then Sienna transfers that to the inspector.
And how much is the fine?
$220.
$120, okay.
A note there, that may not seem like much money compared to what we were just talking about, but
Sure.
we don't make a lot of money off these rentals, and it still is a substantial sum. Plus, I would like to see there be some clarification of how the violation letter is worded, that it makes it more clear than it was to me, the importance of contacting the office. I know they try to put it in bold type, but then they say, or you may simply correct the problem without contacting us. And I was unaware, first, that she would not be able to determine that these were flower plants, and secondly, that there would not be any further communication if she determined that it was insufficient.
In the ordinance violation, does it say contact your office if are questions or concerns?
It does say, please send my office a written plan of action outlining your plan for correcting the violation.
You may simply resolve violations.
It says, for correcting the actions, including a detailed timeline with the date you plan to have it corrected.
And was that wasn't done?
Well, I mean, not to the, what I thought it should have looked like. But again, I mean, I understand that he thinned it out or what have you, but to me, I still thought that it looked like overgrown vegetation.
I could see why.
And I did not
He did
know it
clean
was
it
a
up the
pollinator
first
garden.
time.
What'd you say?
He did clean it up the first time,
From this to this?
and there was no communication after the first time.
The
No,
previous two
some of it.
notices, I had gone in and mowed it, or I didn't have stuff that I particularly wanted to keep at that point. And I don't disagree that sometimes these notices did indicate that I had stuff that was overgrown. The previous two times, I simply got it cut down, and I didn't contact her at that point
That's where I'm
either, but
confused
then
at.
there was no further consequence, so I still didn't know that the procedure was there would be no further contact if they were going to mow it.
That's where I'm confused at. So after the first time, you took it out, and then there was no communication to verify that it was taken out?
No, he did not contact me to tell me anything. I just went back by to do an inspection, and I could not see that much of a change at all.
I think you're talking
Yeah, but
prior.
that's.
Talking about the prior
that's what
notice.
Prior.
He didn't tear down the flowers, is what I'm saying.
Um,
So he took out the weeds, just not the flowers.
right. I'm sorry, say that again.
So he took out the weeds, but just not the flowers, so he. he weeded
Correct. Yes, according,
Like he was supposed to, but. he just
according to
didn't get
him,
the-
yes. But I can't tell that those were flowers. I
Right.
wouldn't have a clue. But yes, that's what, yeah. But he's still also, I wanted the shrubs trimmed too, and that wasn't done. I didn't feel either.
Is there a reason why the shrubs weren't taken care of?
I wasn't aware that that was an issue at this point, because it wasn't noted in the violation notice the way it had been previously. There was a time, one of the previous notices did request that the shrubs be trimmed back. The current notice only in the photos highlights
Oh.
that front area of flower bed. That was my interpretation anyway. 'Cause it just talked about overgrown weeds. So let's see. Weeds and other rank vegetation over 8 inches, which I interpreted as the pollinator garden.
Since I'm not familiar with that, I have been kind of driving around looking at properties that have similar type of issues, and they seem to all have boundaries of some kind. They're not evasive to the neighbors or so that,
I
as
mean, this
opposed
is
to an
It
overgrown.
has a concrete wall in the front, and it's bounded by the sidewalk on the other side. There's the lawn in the park area there, and there's a lawn on the side that's obviously grass and was mowed properly. There's no grass visible in that, so how you could just assume that this was an extension of the lawn that wasn't mowed would be hard to do.
Is there anyone else here to speak to this property? Go ahead. Come on up. She did not get sworn in. She needs sworn at.
Oh, I thought you said she did not show up this morning. I was like,
No, she was here. She just didn't.
do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
And what was your name, ma'am?
Janet.
Janet. Okay.
I feel like this is the first I've ever heard of any neighbor ever complaining of Dan's Gardens. I guess somewhere in the past someone did, but this time they didn't. And we have excellent terms with all of our neighbors, including Stephanie Crumley-Effinger, who owns that driveway that is in your photo.
Right next door there.
And Earlham, who owns the property on the other side. And no one has ever had anything but words of immense praise for Dan's beautiful flowers. It's those tall ones in one of the detail pictures are lilies. He grows Asiatic lilies that the bees flock to. Lilies, brown-eyed Susans, beautiful fall asters. Every season, in the spring, there are daffodils. Every season, another flower comes along.
Right, those other leaves in the photos you got on the bottom are the daffodil leaves that are in the process of dying down. And
You have to allow bulbs to die down
That's part
to
of the
feed
reason.
the bulb.
I hadn't cleared that out at this point, because I was waiting for those to die down, and then I could get in there more
So
easily.
in short, no one has ever complained to us about these beautiful flowers he grows, ever. And he has a very naturalistic approach to a garden. It's true, we don't do mulch, we don't do cute little stick figures, we don't do any of that. But we have more insects in our garden than you can possibly imagine. And it's gone.
Yeah.
The mowing just, those plants do not come back once they've been mowed like that.
Not this year,
Not
anyway.
this year, it'll take years. So at this stage, not only has the neighborhood lost a beautiful yard that neighbors appreciated, but Dan has lost a garden that his parents worked on for 50 years before he had it. It's a traumatic event for us. I know it sounds trivial, but that's the garden where we got our wedding flowers from. And it's been mowed to shreds. There's nothing left. That's all I wanted to say.
I do want to mention the area that's further to the right, past the driveway. There's a side yard there that had a lot of the flowers that she's mentioning, the Asiatic lilies, the obedient plant, which is a tall plant that has pretty sprays of pink flowers. I included photos of these in the original appeal letter that I think you were sent. And all of those got mowed down, so they're not blooming this year. They're probably going to be stunted next year because they were mown down too early to put down reserves to grow next year. I think they will survive, but it will take a few years. And that area, it was never featured in any of these violation complaints. It's just that when the mowers were called in, they took a look at the whole property and cut out down everything they thought looked like overgrown plants.
Right, because I didn't ask them to cut anything on the right, but to them even, it looked like overgrown weeds, so I guess they cut it. But I didn't ask for that.
I guess what I keep noticing is, because of my profession, and I have driven by the property, is the care to the structure as well. I think if a property is well-maintained, when you have a garden like that, and the rest of the property is maintained likewise, your thought process on how you look at the aesthetics of the whole area is different. And none of that looks aesthetically pleasing right now. So, yeah, because I'm seeing a fallen down porch, I'm seeing peeling paint, I'm seeing overgrown hedges. I don't know, I just see a kind of a rundown building that's been,
Where you're seeing people.
Looks
paint
overgrown.
Because there's siding on it's not a painted house.
yeah,
Can you
no,
zoom
it's
in?
not.
Can you zoom in?
There
I mean,
was-
yeah,
See, and I'd
it-
even,
I agree, there's an issue there that needs to be corrected.
Yeah, there's,
and then,
I think that would solve a lot of the issues. And then the properties that I look at that have a pollinator garden the properties are well-maintained. And there seems to be a little more pride and care in the total property and just not a way to prevent from cutting your grass. That's kind of what, the way I see it. I mean, it looks like an easy cure not to have maintenance on a property.
you can, I think there's, I don't know what that is, if that's a screen, I'm not sure what that is right there.
And College Avenue is just a beautiful little area.
It is.
And I think if, you want to maintain the pride of the neighborhood and things with beautiful gardens and stuff, I think that's wonderful. But I think aesthetically has to all make sense.
Yeah, and that was the only reason why I, did the cut order, because I couldn't tell a difference. And you also have to understand that when we go out, sometimes people will do part of something and not the other, or not the whole entire thing. So, it's a common thing, but I couldn't tell enough of a difference. And like I said, the person, I want to say it was at 333, they actually, got a hold of me and said, hey, I know this kind of looks unattractive. I'll get out there and pull some of that stuff. But I could still tell, I could still see something that had flowered. I didn't see anything here. And like I said, we have been there in the past over the years, not just for the flower or there, but also the strip in between the curb and the sidewalk and on the side where grass had not been mowed like it, should have been. And that's why it was just something that has been gone to a few times in the past. Otherwise, I, might not even have written it up. But it just, it had weeds, what I felt like were weeds all around here, right here. And got that brick falling right there. I just thought they were all weeds.
And I think you're in agreement, the property's not being well-maintained. I don't see why she would have any other reason not to think that if it'd been abandoned or what the reasoning behind the lack of care would be for the property.
And I do have empathy for you and your wife, honestly, I do, about, the flowers that were your parents, But I didn't have any idea. Like I said, I'm not a botanist, so I don't know.
Right. So there are, bottom line, there are standards that you look for when you drive around. The letter, although it said, contact her, maybe it's a communication issue that, had you
That's what I
contacted her, I think
say.
she would have said, oh, okay,
Right.
do this, do that, and we'll let it slide until we see what's going to happen. But with her doing thousands of these a year, it's difficult to do a quick drive-by and then not have any communication from the homeowner. So,
I still think there ought to have been more clarity in the need for that.
to contact, and maybe there could be a sterner worded, you must contact the code enforcement office if you, I don't know, you can work on that. That there must be communication in order for the cut order not to be issued, or I don't know, something, however you do that. So that if you don't contact them, or whoever in the future knows, if they don't contact the office, then there is going to be just a cut order. And we do too feel badly about the flowers that were cut and didn't get a chance to bloom this year. I'm hopeful that most of those are perennials and they hopefully will come back. So, what is the pleasure of the board?
Or are there any other speakers?
Are there anyone else here to speak?
Black Eyed Susie's will come back, and the only reason why I know this is because I used to work at IU East. I made the tragic mistake of cutting over because I used to mow, and I mowed them all. Had no idea that's what they were, and yeah, I got scolded, but they did come back, so I feel for you too. I mean, this thing is going to be an issue. It's not just going to be with you, but it has to look well maintained. That's one of the things.
I will work on the house.
And as we see more and more pollinator gardens, maybe the more strict wording, you must contact code enforcement with a plan of action as soon as possible. That way there might not be a miscommunication in the future.
Is there any chance of getting the fee waived or at least reduced?
I doubt we could waive it because contractors need to be paid. We could probably do a payment plan like we did the one before and stretch it out for you.
It's not
But
really an
that's not-
issue. I mean, I have reserves. I just
Correct.
don't like to use them up if I don't have
Yeah.
to.
I'm in agreement with that. The contractors had to be paid, and
There's no money in the department to cover that. It's not a very big sum.
now we have if you would attend our meetings every month, you would know how many unpaid debt, how much unpaid debt we had from people, not homeowners, tenants, landlords in particular, not paying, and it gets attached to their tax bill, so, and eventually it goes to the tax
We have to
sale.
cover
and-
those, so there is some money.
Well, unfortunately, I think we have to, I'll make a motion that we uphold the original ticket weed ordinance violation to the amount of $220.
And I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Is there any more business to come before the board? We are adjourned.